So welcome to today's session at KVSRO Jabalpur. Today we are going to discuss the second part of Unit 5, that is organizing, and this will be second and final video on organizing. So let us begin. Myself Tej Kumar Bharadwaj, PGT Commerce at KVSECL Dhanpuri. Dear students, we have already discussed these units, that is number 1, nature and significance of management, in which we understood that what management is. In second unit, we discussed what are the fundamental facts or principles about management, and in this unit we studied about Henry Fayol's 14 principles and scientific principles given by F.W. Taylor. In third unit, we discussed that what are the surroundings in which business has to survive and manage. Then we discussed about the planning. In planning, we also discussed that what we have to do, how it has to be done, who will do this and that. So after doing all kinds of planning, we are right now on organizing. Organizing, we have already discussed, it is synonymous to systematic or specialized division of work. So this will be the second and final video on organizing. Learning objectives of this unit were organizing concept, organizing as a process and structure, steps in the process of organizing, importance of organizing, formal and informal structures of organization. This much we have discussed in the previous video. In today's session, we will be discussing about the functional and divisional structures of organization in detail. Then we will discuss about delegation, concept, elements and importance. And also we will discuss about decentralization, the concept and importance. And also we will try to distinguish between these two concepts, that is delegation versus decentralization. A quick review of what we have discussed in the previous video. Organizing concept. Organizing essentially implies a process in which we coordinate human efforts, assembles resources and integrate them both for the unified objectives of the organization. It is basically a teamwork. Organizing can be understood as a process in which there were 4 steps we will be discussing, and also as a structure. Today our focus will be on organization as a structure only. So in organizing process, there were 4 systematic steps. Number 1, identification and division of work, departmentalization, grouping of activities, then assigning the tasks, and establishing authority and reporting relationship in the organization, that who will work under whom, who will get orders from whom. Due to this 4th step of the organizing process, the structure of organization takes place. While we establish the authority and reporting relationship in the organization structures takes place. So what is the organization structure? Organization structure is essentially the outcome of the organizing process. हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में बहुत सारे लोग काम करते हैं. जब हम उनके बीच में एक रिलेशनशिप डिफाइन करते हैं तो हमारे पास एक फ्रेमवर्क तैयार होता है. उसी फ्रेमवर्क का नाम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर है. जब हम ये डिसाइड करते हैं कि टॉप लेवल पे ये अधिकारी काम करेंगे, उनके अंडर में ये डिपार्टमेंटल हेड्स काम करेंगे और हर डिपार्टमेंट में इतने लोग काम करेंगे, इस तरह से इनको इनसे ऑर्डर्स मिला करेंगे, ये इनके अंडर में काम करेंगे और ये इनको जाके रिपोर्ट किया करेंगे. तो जब हम इस तरह की एक हायरार्की, एक इस तरह का इंटर रिलेशनशिप डेवलप करते हैं, देन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर टेक्स प्लेस. सो द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर इज basically the framework within which the managerial and operating tasks are performed. It specifies, dear students, focus on these lines. It specifies the relationship between people, work and the resources. So today we are going to discuss in detail about organization structures only. So types of organization structures, there are so many organization structures may be possible. For example, Line organization, army is the best example for line organization, in which authority moves in a specific order, in sequence only. Then line and staff organization, matrix organization, functional organization, divisional organization. So these are the structures, some very common and popularly known structures of organization. But in our syllabus, line organization is not there, line and staff is not there, matrix is not there. We are having only two types of structures, that is functional and divisional structure. So dear students, today we will be discussing about types of organization structures, that is functional structure and divisional structure only. Let us discuss them one by one. One of the very important, very interesting and very prominent structure of organization, when we divide all the organizational activities on the basis of major functions performed in it. I am repeating, when we classify or divide our organization on the basis of major functions performed, then it is called as functional structure. So grouping of jobs of similar nature under functional and organization, these major functions as separate departments creates a functional structure. All these people, all these departments report to a coordinating head, that is boss. So let us try to understand with the help of this diagram. There is production manager, there is personnel manager, HR managers, there are finance managers, and there is one more departmental head, that is marketing manager. So all these are the HODs. Under these HODs, under these head of the departments, their departments will be functioning, and all common nature activities, all common activities will be grouped under their department only. So we are grouping, we are clubbing all similar nature activities together. हम एक जगह जो ग्रुप कर रहे हैं वो किसके बेस पे कर रहे हैं? कॉमन फंक्शंस. इस डिपार्टमेंट में सिर्फ ये वाले काम होंगे. प्रोडक्शन मैनेजर में ऑल द एक्टिविटीज रिलेटेड टू प्रोडक्शन विल बी डन. So we are dividing our structure on the basis of major functions. Then it becomes the functional structure. All these people will be reporting to the common head, that is managing director. इस चीज को आप नोट कर लीजिए. प्लीज नोट डाउन. Suitability. It is most suitable when the size of organization is very large and it is having identifiable diversified activities. Identifiable diversified activities यानी जिनको हम अलग से आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं कि फंक्शन, ये वाला फंक्शन ये अलग है, प्रोडक्शन अलग, मार्केटिंग अलग, फाइनेंस अलग, पर्सनल और HR अलग. तो जब हम आइडेंटिफाइबल डाइवर्सिफाइड एक्टिविटीज अपने पास होती हैं एंड वी आर हैविंग ऑपरेशंस एट अ हायर लेवल ऑफ स्पेशलाइजेशन, मीन्स one person cannot perform all the activities, rather it will be specialized activity to be performed by that particular department only. Then the functional structure is identified. Functional structure. Let us have example. It is my way of explaining the structure of functional structure to my students. Let us have an example of HUL, Hindustan Unilever Limited. It is having very commonly known brands, that is Lux, Lakme, Dove and Close-Up. So the production of all these four brands is taking place at Chennai. We are classifying our organization on the basis of major functions. So production function for Lux, for Lakme, for Dove and for Close-Up is taking place at Chennai only. Finance department will be functioning at Mumbai for Lux, for Lakme, for Dove and for Close-Up as well. Staff for all the four brands, that is Lux, Lakme, Dove and Close-Up, will be recruited and trained at Ahmedabad only. So our personnel or HR department is at Ahmedabad, and finally the marketing or sales division is at Delhi. So marketing for Lux as well as Lakme, for Dove and for Close-Up also will be taking place at Delhi. So we have classified our organization in four major functions, that is production, finance, personal and marketing. For all the major brands of my firm, major functions will be performed at these specific places. So what you are right now seeing on your screen is functional structure of the organization. Okay, what are the advantages of functional structure? One advantage you must have understood till now, that is it brings specialization, because one department will be performing only and only his dedicated function. फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट केवल और केवल फाइनेंस की ही एक्टिविटी करेगा, तो उसको करते करते जो उसके एक्सपर्ट बन जाते हैं. It brings a specialization, and obviously specialization brings the efficiency. Number 2, it becomes easy to control and coordinate within a department. When all the activities of a department are being controlled by the departmental head, that is head of the organization, HODs, it becomes easy for him, because he is also the specialized person of his function. So it becomes easy for him to control all the activities of his department. Then obviously when the departments are bringing greater level of efficiency and effectiveness in their departments, and all the departments are bringing the same, so obviously the firm's profits are increasing. Then economies of scale and lower cost. When we are doing functions at a specialized level, obviously there will be less wastage and greater output, which brings the lower cost and higher profits of the organization. Next benefit will be easy training. We know we have to give training to the production department only, so we will be calling the experts of production, and they will be imparting training to all the persons who are working in production department only. Obviously it will be easy to train them. Due attention to each function. Coordination becomes very easy. How? Because we know that this task was given to this department, this task was given to this department, and it becomes easy to assign the responsibility or accountability, that why this work has not been done, where the failure is taking place. अगर फाइनेंस का फेलियर है तो हम जानते हैं कि हमें कौन से डिपार्टमेंट को जाकर के उसकी अकाउंटेबिलिटी देनी है. सो ड्यू अटेंशन टू ईच फंक्शन. दीज वर सम ऑफ द एडवांटेजेस ऑफ फंक्शनल स्ट्रक्चर. कमिंग टू डिसएडवांटेज, लेस एम्फेसिस ऑन ओवरऑल एंटरप्राइज ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. ये एक ऐसी प्रॉब्लम है जो आप सभी जानते हैं. इन आवर कंट्री ऑल्सो वी पीपल, एक मैंने कहीं व्हाट्सएप पे ही जोक पढ़ा कि मैसेज पढ़ा कि some foreigner came to India and he said कि sir have you seen India? Yes. Sir have you met any Indian? बोले no. Why? Because I met Gujarati, I met Maharashtrian, but I could not see the person who is saying I'm Indian. So this kind of problems are also arising in the organization. Actually people start focusing more on their departmental objectives rather than focusing on the entire organizational objectives. Although we have studied in the principles of management that it should be replacing I with we, but practically there is a problem that there are clashes of departmental objectives. Then problem in coordination. Although it is said that coordination is the essence of management, but at practical levels it becomes very difficult due to ego clashes and clashes in providing the information to each and every department, and unnecessary delay takes place. When there are conflicts of departmental interest, it causes unnecessary delay, and ultimately it causes a loss to the organization. Then inflexibility of staff, another disadvantage. Specialization is the advantage of functional structure, and it brings one very major disadvantage to the organization, that is inflexibility. If we try to appoint the person of finance department in production department, will he able to work? Give the answer by yourself. He will simply say I am the expert of doing this job, I cannot do this job. मुझे तो फाइनेंस के बारे में पता है, आप मुझे प्रोडक्शन में लगाएंगे, मैं वहाँ कुछ नहीं कर पाऊंगा. सो इनफ्लेक्सिबिलिटी ऑफ स्टाफ इज अ मेजर ड्रॉबैक ऑफ फंक्शनल स्ट्रक्चर. Dear students, the another structure which is very important for your exam also is divisional structure. डिविजनल स्ट्रक्चर में नॉर्मली आप ये समझ लीजिए कि डिविजनल स्ट्रक्चर टेक्स प्लेस व्हेन वी आर हैविंग आइडेंटिफाइबल ब्रांड्स, आइडेंटिफाइबल प्रोडक्ट्स which are being produced at a very high level. The turnover of that product is very high. We are having a separate product line which is completely distinguished from the other products. Then the divisional structure takes place. Okay, so in divisional structure, the organization structure comprises of separate business units or division. जहां हम वहां फंक्शंस पे डिवाइड कर रहे थे, यहां हम अपने प्रोडक्ट्स के ऊपर डिवाइड करेंगे. याद रखिए, इस चीज को भूलना नहीं है. इन फंक्शनल स्ट्रक्चर entire organization is classified on the basis of major functions, but in divisional structure entire organization is classified on the basis of major products manufactured. Okay, so each division is self-contained and it develops the expertise in all functions related to a product line. So let us see the diagram. Under the managing directors, there are 4 major products: cosmetics, garments, footwear and skincare. All major products are having all major functions in them. Means they are complete unit in themselves. वो अपने आप में कंप्लीट डिवीजन है. कॉस्मेटिक्स में उसी के अंडर में प्रोडक्शन भी है, मार्केटिंग भी है, फाइनेंस भी है. स्किन केयर के अंडर में प्रोडक्शन भी है, मार्केटिंग भी है, फाइनेंस भी है. वो अपने आप में कंप्लीट यूनिट्स हैं, इसीलिए हम इसको कंप्लीट डिविजनल स्ट्रक्चर बोलते हैं. सूटेबिलिटी, इट इज सुटेबल व्हेन द एंटरप्राइज आर एक्सेप्शनली लार्ज एंड दे आर हैविंग वैरायटी ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स and the products are also easily distinguishable. They are having separate product line. So this is the suitability of divisional structure. मैं वापस आपको याद दिला दूं कि स्टडी सॉल्व करने में आपको बहुत हेल्प मिलेगी. When the organization is classified on the basis of major functions, it is called as functional structure, and when the organization is classified on the basis of major products, it is called divisional structure. So divisional structure, let us have the same example which we had for functional structure. Now Hindustan Unilever Limited is dealing with food products, for example Annapurna Namak and noodles and many other things. Home care products, for example Rin, Lysol, etc. Water purifiers, and personal care, for example Close-Up, Dove, Lux, all these are the personal care products. So now production, finance, personal and marketing for food products is taking place at Chennai. This is divisional structure. All functions related to one product line is being performed at one place. Then it is called divisional structure. Move forward. Home care unit is Mumbai unit. So home care division is Mumbai division. Here the production as well as finance as well as personal as well as marketing, all these functions are taking place at Mumbai only for home care products. Again, for water purifiers, production as well as finance as well as personal, HR that is, and marketing are taking place at Ahmedabad division. Now we will call division. And last, personal care division is Delhi division. Here the production, finance, personal and marketing, all these functions will be taking place at Delhi only. So this is divisional structure. I hope now you are clear with functional as well as divisional structure. Move forward. What are the advantages of divisional structure? Development of skills. Each division is complete in itself, performing all the functions. So the skills have been developed, and if you want to transfer the person of one division to other division, it becomes possible. Helps in fixation of responsibility. Now no one can escape from his or her responsibility, because if this division If food division is not giving the profits, dear students, in accountancy also you will have to do segment analysis. So divisional structures help in segment analysis also. If food segment is not doing good, it is having more capital and giving less revenue and less profits, then food division is responsible. We cannot share the responsibility of this division to other divisions. So it becomes easy to decide the responsibility of a division. Quick decision making, whether this unit is to be continued or not, whether this division is good, it should be continued, this division is not performing good, it should be discontinued, like that. So it helps in decision making. And finally, it facilitates expansion and growth. How? If we want to launch a new product, no problem, we have to appoint the staff entirely for one division. So we will be appointing the personal manager, the production managers and other staff, and it will be working for that division only. And if we want to discontinue it, we can discontinue. If we want to launch new divisions, we can also add the new divisions. Disadvantages, obviously there the conflict was between the departments, functions. Here the division structures may lead to conflict among the various divisions. They may ask for more share of capital and profits from the bosses or top level managers. Then increase cost. We have to appoint separate function managers, function HODs and other staff for each division. Whether it is giving the output or not, we have to appoint separately. We cannot share the work with other divisions, so it leads to increased cost unnecessarily. And finally, it is a very big risk to organization due to divisional structure. Independent authority. Many a times the divisional heads become so arrogant, so independent that they decide to conflict with the entire organizational goals. So this is a big risk to organization due to divisional structure. Let us have a comparison between functional and divisional structure. It may come in your exam for 4 to 5 marks. Formation. Functional structures are formed on the basis of major functions, while divisional structures are formed on the basis of major product lines or major products produced. Specialization. In functional structure there is functional specialization, in divisional structure there is product specialization. ये लाइन अपने आप में काफ़ी है इन दोनों के बीच में डिस्टिंग्विश करने के लिए. So specialization, here is functional specialization, here is product specialization. Then responsibility, difficult to fix on a department. फंक्शनल स्ट्रक्चर में ये मुश्किल हो जाता है कि आप कैसे बताएंगे कि यहाँ पे फंक्शन डिपार्टमेंट अच्छा काम कर रहा है, प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट अच्छा काम कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है. बट इन डिविजनल स्ट्रक्चर इट बिकम्स इजी टू डिवाइड द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड डिसाइड द अकाउंटेबिलिटी. मैनेजरियल डेवलपमेंट. इन फंक्शनल managerial development is difficult because one person has to perform the function for many products. But in divisional structure there is greater autonomy. Independence is there. Then cost. Functions are not duplicated, therefore it is economical. So until and unless the turnover of a product is so high, you should avoid the divisional structure and we should go for functional structure only. But in divisional structure, duplication of resources. जितने भी प्रोडक्ट लाइन्स हैं मेरे, सबके लिए मुझे प्रोडक्शन मैनेजर अपॉइंट करने पड़ेंगे, सबके लिए मुझे फाइनेंस अपॉइंट करने पड़ेंगे, सबके लिए एचआर अपॉइंट करने पड़ेंगे. सो डुप्लीकेसी ऑफ फंक्शन इज देयर, देयरफॉर इट बिकम्स कॉस्टली. एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन. इट इज डिफिकल्ट फॉर अ मल्टी प्रोडक्ट कंपनी. फंक्शनल स्ट्रक्चर में ये ठीक नहीं होगा अगर मेरे यहाँ बहुत सारे मेजर प्रोडक्ट्स हैं और सभी का टर्नओवर बहुत हाई है, तो फंक्शनल स्ट्रक्चर विल नॉट बी सुटेबल फॉर मी, because coordination will become difficult. But in division structure, coordination becomes easy because all functions related to one product are being performed at one places. तो याद रखिए, अगर आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का साइज बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा है, जहां आपकी हर प्रोडक्ट लाइन का टर्नओवर बहुत हाई है, देन यू शुड गो फॉर डिविजनल. बट अगर हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का साइज उतना ज़्यादा लार्ज नहीं है एंड फंक्शनल डिफरेंशिएशन बहुत क्लियर है हमारे यहाँ, देन वी शुड गो फॉर फंक्शनल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. Dear students, now move forward to a very important topic for your board exam, that is delegation of authority. Delegation of authority, आप इस बात को अच्छे से समझ लीजिए कि no one is capable enough to perform all of his functions by himself. चाहे आप सुपरमैन ही क्यों ना हो, आप अपने सारे काम खुद से नहीं कर सकते. In real life also you see this thing very practically, that you have to divide the work. जब आप एक काम खुद करते हैं तो उम्मीद करते हैं कि ये काम कोई मेरे लिए दूसरा कर दे. In organization also, managers are, especially the top level managers, are so overburdened that he cannot perform all of his functions by himself. So it becomes necessity to delegate the work. A manager, no matter how capable he is, cannot manage to do every task of his own. This is a very practical thing, and you all must agree to it. So what should be done? We should assign our tasks to others also. So if a manager desires to meet all the organizational goals, focus on objectives and ensure that all work is accomplished, he must delegate authority. So remember, delegation starts when the manager feels that he is overburdened, he is having some tasks and he has to prioritize those tasks. He has to start delegating his work to others. Elements of delegation. What are the major elements of delegation? Let us discuss. One is authority, other is responsibility, and last is accountability. Dear students, this topic is very important for 4 marks in your board exam. Generally, I have observed that delegation comes in 4 marks. However, now the question may come for 5 marks or 6 marks also, but generally what pattern I have observed, it comes for 4 marks. So what are the types of questions which can be asked in this topic? We will be discussing later on. Let us discuss all the elements of delegation one by one. Number 1 is authority. जब भी मुझे किसी को कुछ काम देना होगा, already this thing we have discussed in the 14 principles of Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol clearly says that authority and responsibility must go side by side. Authority और responsibility साथ साथ चलनी चाहिए. Authority is blind without responsibility, and responsibility is meaningless without authority. We have already discussed this thing. So what is the authority? First element, authority means right to take decisions. Authority means it is the right of an individual to command his subordinate and to take action within the scope of his positions. Authorities, remember, always flows from top to bottom. Top level gives some authority to the medium level, and medium level shares some part of that authority to the lower levels, and so on. Second important element of the delegation is responsibility, in which we give some task. ये काम आपको करना है, आज से ये आपकी responsibility है. So giving some task, it means the obligation of a subordinate to properly perform the assigned duties. This is responsibility. So elements of delegation was one very important element is authority, second will be responsibility, and last is accountability. Accountability means being answerable for the final outcome. ये काम हुआ या नहीं हुआ, इसके लिए जवाबदेही तय करना. So always remember, give output not excuses. Give output not excuses. So these are the 3 important elements of delegation. Delegation के ऊपर जनरली जो क्वेश्चन आता है, एक तो delegation को आप हमेशा याद रखिए, delegation के जो कीवर्ड है वो है overburdened manager. In your exam, if you see the case study and there is a term that bosses are having more tasks and he is not having time to perform his primary duties, what he should do? Obviously, he should delegate some of his authority to the subordinates. So delegation is having 3 important elements. Authority means right to take decisions, responsibility means task to perform, and accountability means answerability towards completion of that task. Now let us discuss about these three elements one by one in detail. Meaning, authority means right to command, responsibility means obligation to perform an assigned task, and accountability means answerability for the outcome of the assigned task. Delegation, remember, delegation, authority can be delegated. मैं अपनी पावर में से कुछ पावर किसी को दे सकता हूं, पॉसिबल है. रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कुछ हद तक किसी को दी जा सकती है. मुझे बहुत सारे काम मिले करने के लिए मेरे बॉसेस से, उसमें से कुछ काम मैंने किसी और को दे दिए. सो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कैन बी शेयर्ड पार्शियली, बट अकाउंटेबिलिटी कैन नॉट बी delegated at all. Accountability cannot be delegated at all. We'll discuss this thing with the help of an example, and this is another important question for 3 marks in your exam. Origin. Authority arises from formal positions. Responsibility arises from due to delegation of authority. जब भी मैं किसी को कुछ authority दूंगा, authority के साथ मैंने कुछ उसको काम जरूर दिए होंगे करने के लिए. And accountability, it arises due to responsibility. So there is an interrelationship. Remember, responsibility arises due to authority. Always remember, great powers comes with great responsibilities. जब भी बड़ी पावर्स आती हैं, साथ में बड़ी जिम्मेदारियां भी आती हैं. So responsibility arises due to delegated authority, and accountability arises due to given responsibilities. Flow. The authority flows from top to bottom, that is superior to subordinate. Responsibility flows from subordinate to superior, and finally the accountability flows upward from subordinate to superior. Means यहाँ नीचे से ऊपर की तरफ जवाबदेही है, अथॉरिटी ऊपर से नीचे की तरफ फ्लो करती है, अकाउंटेबिलिटी नीचे से ऊपर की तरफ डिसाइड होती है. Importance of delegation. Very important question. Another, it can be again the question can be asked for 4 marks. So what is the importance of delegation? Number 1, effective management. Very first principle of Henry Fayol, division of work. So when we delegate some work to others, obviously the manager will be able to perform or give main focus to his primary tasks. Employee development, मैं जिसको काम दूंगा वो एक तरह से मेरे काम करेगा. या जब भी कोई अधिकारी किसी जूनियर को काम देते हैं, सबऑर्डिनेट को काम देते हैं, तो एक तरह से वो काम किसके लेवल का हो रहा है? सीनियर लेवल का. सो द एम्प्लॉय, इफ ही इज डूइंग हिज बॉसेस वर्क, इन फ्यूचर ही कैन बी प्रमोटेड टू हिज पोजीशन. यस, इट इज पॉसिबल. मोटिवेशन ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज. मुझे बहुत अच्छे से याद है कि मेरी बेटी जब क्लास 5th में थी तो शी वॉज द हेड गर्ल, एंड she used to tell me every day that पापा आज मुझे ये काम मिला करने के लिए, पापा आज मुझे ये काम मिला मुझे करने के लिए. So whenever a subordinate is given a task, he feels motivated that I have been chosen for this task or job. Means bosses ने मेरे अंदर कोई बात देखी है, उन्होंने मुझे स्पेशल समझा है, so he feels motivated. Facilitation of the growth. Obviously when the employees are given the tasks of a higher level, then organization grows as well as the personal growth of the employee also takes place. Basis of management hierarchy. Delegation से ही actually organization बनता है. याद रखिए, delegation is the machinery of delegation is the machinery of organizing. So it is the basis of management hierarchy. Better coordination. When we assign the task and divide the task between everyone, there is a coordination, a higher level of coordination in the organization. It becomes easy for a manager, for a boss, that to know what task was given to him, which person, and which person will be responsible for the completion of that task. Accountability cannot be delegated. Remember, this question can be asked for 3 marks. We are just discussing about it, that authority can be delegated but accountability cannot be delegated. So let us discuss with the help of an example. Suppose the top level manager, that is CEO, he has given a task. He asked for a report on total overtime paid during last month within 3 days. इन्होंने फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट से एक रिपोर्ट मांगी 3 दिन के अंदर हमें ये बताइए कि पिछले मंथ में हमने कितना ओवर टाइम पे किया एक्सपेंडिचर एनालिसिस के लिए। फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट ने फर्दर यही काम डेलीगेट किया अपने लोअर लेवल मैनेजर्स को, दैट इज सुपरवाइजर्स। उनसे बोला कि आपने जितने वर्कर्स को ओवर टाइम दिया है उनकी एक कंपाइल्ड रिपोर्ट हमें दीजिए ताकि हम अपने ऊपर अधिकारियों को दे सकें। द सुपरवाइजर एक्चुअली फेल्स टू गिव द रिक्वायर्ड इंफॉर्मेशन विद इन टाइम। नाउ द प्रॉब्लम अराइजेस दैट फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट विल नॉट बी एबल टू गिव द रिपोर्ट ऑन टाइम टू टॉप लेवल मैनेजर्स। देन हु विल बी अकाउंटेबल? रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी तो शेयर कर दी, अथॉरिटी तो शेयर कर दी आपने, बट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि सीईओ सुपरवाइजर से पूछेगा लोअर लेवल से या फाइनेंस मैनेजर से पूछेगा। ऑब्वियसली ही विल द फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट विल बी हेल्ड अकाउंटेबल और रिस्पॉन्सिबल टुवर्ड्स द सीईओ। सो अकाउंटेबिलिटी कैन नॉट बी डेलीगेटेड, अथॉरिटी कैन बी डेलीगेटेड, responsibility can be delegated partially up to some extent, but accountability can not at all be delegated. Accountability तो आप ही की रहेगी, काम पूरा हुआ नहीं हुआ अब सजा तो आप ही को मिलेगी। Now coming to decentralization. Dear students, I will try to explain the thing with the help of a animation. The animation is made by me only. Suppose under the managing director, Mr. Abhay is working at Delhi. Then he is also having the accountability of Agra division, Aligarh division and Mathura division. So he becomes overburdened. Now what he used to do is, वो भेजता था बीरेंद्र को आप आगरा से रिपोर्ट लाओ, वो भेजता था चमन को जो उसका जूनियर है कि आप अलीगढ़ से रिपोर्ट लाओ, वहां जाकर के काम करो, और वो भेजता था दीपक को कि आप मथुरा से रिपोर्ट लाओ। नाउ अभय इज सीनियर, बीरेंद्र एंड चमन एंड दीपक आर सबॉर्डिनेट्स। काम मिला मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर से अभय को, अभय बिजी है, उसको दिल्ली का भी काम देखना है, सारे काम देखने हैं। नाउ व्हाट ही इज डूइंग, ही इज एक्चुअली डेलीगेटिंग हिज टास्क टू बीरेंद्र, चमन एंड दीपक। सो टेम्पररीली Birender is going to Agra giving report to Abhay, Chaman is going to Aligarh on behalf of Abhay and giving report to Abhay, Deepak is going to Mathura and after coming back he is giving report to Abhay. After compilation of all these reports, now Abhay will be giving the reports regarding Agra, Aligarh, Mathura as well as Delhi to his managing director. So this was the delegation. Now the managing director, the bosses, the top level managers are thinking that it should not be done temporarily. Rather, Birender should be made permanently head at Agra, Chaman should be made permanently head at Aligarh, and Deepak should be made permanently head at Mathura only, and Abhay will see the work of Delhi. So this is decentralization. It refers to systematic dispersal of authority to the lower levels of managers. Under the managing director, now Deepak is looking after Mathura, Abhay is looking after Delhi, Birender is looking after Agra, and Chaman is looking after Aligarh units now. So this is delegation. जो हम decentralization में temporary कर रहे थे और जिसको अभय कर रहा था अभी तक, MD ने अभय को ड्यूटी दी, अभय ने वो ड्यूटीज टेम्परेरी बेसिस पे दीपक को, बीरेंद्र को, चमन को दी और वो जाते थे आकर के रिपोर्ट कलेक्ट करते थे, अभय को देते थे। बट नाउ ऑल दीज पीपल हैव बीन मेड मैनेजर्स एट पार टू अभय एट डिफरेंट डिविजन्स। हमने परमानेंट पोस्ट क्रिएट कर दी। तो टेम्परेरी और परमानेंट का ध्यान रखिएगा जब हम बात करते हैं डेलीगेशन वर्सेस डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन की। आई होप द एग्जांपल इज क्लियर। लेट अस मूव फॉरवर्ड। Centralization and decentralization. Centralization means when all the decisions, small or big, are taken by top level only. This is called complete centralization. But when the authority is delegated to various levels to take their decisions independently, it is called decentralization. Okay. So everything which goes to increase the importance of subordinate role is called decentralization. अभी हमने बात की, अब दीपक का और चमन का इनका रोल इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया, वो भी अपने लेवल पे बॉसेस हैं, हमने उनके रोल्स को इंक्रीज कर दिया। दिस इज कॉल्ड डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। हमने उन्हें इंडिपेंडेंट डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर दे दी, अथॉरिटी दे दी। इट इज कॉल्ड डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन, इट डेवलप्स इनिशिएटिव अमंग सबॉर्डिनेट्स। सबॉर्डिनेट्स के अंदर ये इच्छा जागती है कि हम कुछ एक्स्ट्रा इनिशिएटिव लें, कुछ नई शुरुआत करें, तो हमें भी अधिकारी के लेवल पे प्रमोट किया जा सकता है। It develops managerial talent for the future. Obviously, in future bosses will be appointed from the subordinates only if they are doing good. Quick decision making. Now, all these people who are working at Aligarh, Agra or Mathura will not be asking Abhay anything. Rather, they will be taking their decisions by their own. So obviously, the decisions will be quick now. Relief to top level managers. Now top level managers have assigned the task permanently to different levels, different people at lower levels, and we have made them independent. Now accountability has also been delegated. Along with the authority, accountability has also been delegated, permanently delegated to these people. So one is temporary, other is permanent. It facilitates growth of the organization. Senior level managers can be found out from the subordinates or juniors. And better control, because each person is accountable for his or her unit or division. Let us have a discussion between delegation versus decentralization. A very very important question for 4 marks. A direct question will be asked, dear students. So nature, formal I'm sorry, there is some correction. So let me make some correction. Okay, so delegation versus decentralization, this question is asked for 4 marks. Nature, delegation is compulsory. Without delegation, no manager can survive. इस दुनिया में कोई भी ऐसा नहीं है जो अपने सारे काम खुद कर ले. So everyone has to delegate more or less. But decentralization is completely optional policy, and the option lies in the hands of top level. अभी मैं जो एग्जाम्पल्स की बात कर रहा था, अगर मैं वहां बात करूं तो मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर चाहते तो अभय के थ्रू भी काम चलते रह सकता था. यानी अभय उस काम को रिपोर्ट करने के लिए चमन को भेजते रहता, दीपक को भेजते रहता, और वो काम चलते रह सकता था. So it is entirely the discretion of the top level managers whether they want to decentralize or not. Otherwise, delegation can solve the purpose, serve the purpose. Freedom of action. In delegation, more control by superiors. दीपक और चमन अपने लेवल पे कोई भी डिसीजन नहीं ले सकते थे, बिकॉज दे ऑल वर वर्किंग ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ अभय ओनली. टेम्परेरीली उनको पावर मिली हुई थी, बट दे वर नॉट इंडिपेंडेंट टू टेक देयर डिसीजंस. बट व्हेन दे हैव बीन मेड मैनेजर्स बाय द टॉप लेवल, that is managing director, it became decentralization, and now they are having more freedom to take their own decisions. Then status, delegation is the process followed to share the task, but that decentralization is the result of policy decision of top level managers. Now coming to scope, delegation is having narrow scope because it is having between immediate senior and subordinate. ये दो लोगों के बीच की बात है. इमीडिएट सीनियर इज गिविंग सम अथॉरिटी टू इमीडिएट जूनियर्स, एंड उन दोनों के बीच की बात है. ओके, डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन इज अ वाइड टर्म बिकॉज इट अप्लाइज टू द एंटायर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. ये पूरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पे एक साथ अप्लाई होता है. पर्पस, डेलीगेशन का पर्पस है केवल और केवल ओवरबर्डन्ड मैनेजर को उनके वर्कलोड को रिड्यूस करना, जिससे वो अपने मेन टास्क के ऊपर ज़्यादा फोकस कर सकें. टू रिड्यूस द वर्कलोड ऑफ एन ओवरबर्डन्ड मैनेजर सो दैट ही मे गिव मोर अटेंशन टू हिज प्राइमरी टास्क. बट डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन, it is the main focus of decentralization to increase the role of subordinate and to make them promoted to a higher level authority or higher level hierarchy. So this was the difference between delegation and decentralization. Now let us have a discussion on some common questions which are asked in this unit. Functional structure, its merit and demerit. A direct question may be there for 5 marks. दो मेरिट पूछेंगे और फंक्शनल स्ट्रक्चर को आपसे डिफाइन करवाएंगे, और 3 मेरिट 2 डिमेरिट्स और 2 मेरिट्स और 3 डिमेरिट्स लाइक दैट. सो एनी काइंड ऑफ परम्यूटेशन और कॉम्बिनेशन मे बी देयर एंड द क्वेश्चन मे बी आस्क्ड फॉर 4 or 5 or 6 marks. Same thing for divisional structure also. The question can be asked merits and demerits, or direct question may be asked. Formal versus informal organization, a case study may be asked, or directly the tabular difference may be asked. The difference may be asked on the basis of some given points in a tabular form. Delegation, elements or importance, directly the question will be asked for 4 marks, may be asked. And delegation versus decentralization, just we discussed in the form of a table, it will be asked in a direct question, in form of a direct question. Now let us have a discussion on some case studies which has been asked in board exams. Sameer Gupta started a telecommunication company, Donera Limited, to manufacture economical mobile phones for the Indian rural market with 15 employees. The company did very well in its initial years. As the product was good and marketed well, the demand of its product went up well. To increase the production, the company decided to recruit additional employees. Sameer Gupta, who was earlier taking all the decisions for the company, had to selectively disperse the authority. He believed that subordinates are competent, capable and resourceful and can assume responsibility. This is the key point for this case study. He believed that subordinates are competent, capable and resourceful. When the senior thinks that subordinates are capable enough to hold the responsibility, then the decentralization takes place, because independent decision making power is given to junior levels. Now this paid off, and the company was not only able to increase its profit but also expanded product range. Identify the concept used. It is decentralization. And also explain any 3 points of importance of this concept. Obviously, importance of delegation includes relief to top level. जो समीर गुप्ता है वो रिलैक्स होंगे अब, क्योंकि उनके लेवल का काम जो है वो उनके जूनियर्स कर रहे होंगे. It develops initiative among subordinates, and also it helps in developing the managerial talent for the future. Dear student, you have to explain these points in at least 1 sentence. It will be better if you make a diagram while answering your question and also give some practical examples. Ishita is working as a corporate event organizer, a coordinator in an event management company. She has been made an overall in charge for organizing a painting exhibition for one of the clients of the company. For ensuring that the exhibition takes place successfully, she identifies the various activities involved and divides the whole work into various task groups like marketing committee, decoration committee and reception committee. So systematic division of work is there. In order to facilitate coordination within and among the committees, she appoints a supervisor of each group. Each member in a group is asked to report to their respective supervisors of each group. Each member in the group is also asked to report their respective supervisors. Every supervisor is expected to work as per Ishita's orders. In the context above, identify the function of management being performed by Ishita and also describe the various steps involved in performing the functions of this function of the management. The organizing function is being performed by Ishita. The steps involved are identification and division of work, departmentalization, and assigning the tasks. So dear students, this was the case study which has been asked in board exams regarding this unit. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. In next unit, in next video, we'll be discussing about next function of management, that is the staffing. Till then, keep practicing, stay inside and stay safe. Thank you very much.